Collapses again, second time in 24 hours. Bandits invade Katsina community, kill 2, injure others. Nigeria's inflation hits 32.7% in September. On the international scene, flash floods displace hundreds in South Sudan's Jonglei state. Hello and welcome to the news update on Trust TV. I am Aisha Salihu. Thank you so much for joining us. Now the news in detail. Nigeria's power grid has once again collapsed less than 24 hours after its previous failure. The collapse occurred around 9:17 a.m. on Tuesday, plunging many parts of the country into another round of power outages. Confirming the system collapse, the Eco Electricity Distribution Company, in a post via X, informed customers that there was a system collapse at 9:17 hours, which has resulted to a loss of power supply across network. The power company said it is currently working with partners and hope for speedy restoration of the grid. This is the second grid collapse in less than 24 hours. A check on the website of the Independent Service Operator, an independent arm of the Transmission Company of Nigeria that monitors the transfer of electricity on the power grid, showed that electricity transmission on the grid dropped to 0.00 megawatt by 7 p.m. on Monday, meaning no electricity was transmitted from electricity generation stations to the 11 electricity distribution companies in the country. The drop was from 3,566 megawatts around 6 p.m. And to matters of security, a fresh bandits attack on Monday morning threw residents of Tashar Kadanya community under Dan Ali ward of Dan Musa local government area of Katsina state into grief. This followed the invasion of the village, leading to the killing of 2 people by gunmen suspected to be bandits. The suspected bandits, riding on motorcycles and carrying weapons including AK-47 rifles, attacked the village, shooting sporadically, inflicting serious gunshot injuries on 2 other residents. In the same vein, the hoodlums also abducted several other residents after forcefully burgling grain stores and shops and carting away grains and valuables worth millions of naira. They also rustled animals in the process. Eyewitnesses from the neighboring communities say hundreds of people, mostly women and children, have fled Tashar Kadanya village to either Yan Tumaki in Dan Musa or Kankara town in Kankara local government area. Meanwhile, security agencies in Katsina state are yet to comment on the attack as at the time of filing this report. Still on security matters, 3 kidnappers have been neutralized by the police attached to the Mokwa division in the process of rescuing an abducted victim. The kidnappers abducted the victim at Takuma village in Mokwa local government area. Upon receiving the information about the abduction, the joint security team, which comprised the police and vigilantes, mobilized and trailed the suspected kidnappers to Kwakiko forest. The kidnappers engaged the police team in a gun duel, which resulted in the death of the kidnappers, while 1 AK-47 rifle with 3 live ammunition was recovered. In a related development, the crack squad team of the State Police Command has apprehended a 22-year-old man, Samaila Saidu, on information about his attachment to a group of terrorists. During interrogation, the suspect narrated that he had worked with the Kachala group of terrorists for over 2 years, adding that he had participated in a series of robberies, cattle rustling and kidnapping in Mangoro Sarking Power area, Garun Gabas, Bena Kotonkoro area and the attack of Kagara town. The Niger State Police Public Relations Officer, SP Wasiu Abiodun, said investigation into the kidnapping incident is in progress as efforts is on top gear to arrest the fleeing members of the gang. The Kwara State Police Command has dismissed 3 of its officers over their alleged roles in the death of a student at Kwara State Polytechnic, Ilorin. The incident, which occurred on September 4, 2024, generated widespread condemnation, which led to the transfer of the case to the police headquarters in Abuja by the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun. The indicted officers are Inspector Abiodun Kayode, Inspector James Samuel, and Sergeant Oni Philip. Giving updates on the incident in a statement by its spokesperson, DSP Toun Ejire Adeyemi, the command said the indicted officers were found guilty of leaving their beat, corrupt practices, and unlawful or unnecessary exercise of authority in the matter. She said the dismissed officers would be arraigned soon. The Minister of Women Affairs, Uju Kennedy Ohaneye, has promised to take decisive action against a man accused of sexually abusing 2 sisters, aged 8 and 3. In a viral video, the minister vowed to ensure justice is served, stating that she would not tolerate such acts and would make an example of the neighbor allegedly responsible for the abuse.
Action will come. I will find them tight. It is they that will run. Not me, but it's to Kennedy. I will not go. Imagine a small girl like this being raped by a matured man with her younger sister, 3-year-old. Where is it done? 3-year-old, and this girl 8 years plus, being raped 3 times. I will teach this man a lesson. Yes. When I finish with him, I'll bring him out to Nigerians. Yes. Nigerians will finish the remaining one. Yes. Because now Nigerians, you people are doing well. As I am now, each time I call you people, you come out. Each time something happens, you push it to me. And when I come out to fight, you join me. Even if you don't come physically, but you're using media. You're still doing me and Nigerian women and children favor. I thank you very well, Nigerians.
Stakeholders in the nation's economic landscape have advocated the need for regulatory reforms that will engender economic growth and competitiveness in the sector. They spoke on the sidelines of this year's Nigerian Economic Summit, an annual event that brings together public and private sector leaders in Abuja to discuss the country's economic management. Trustee Factional Samson has more.
The Nigerian Economic Summit, NES, is organized by the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, NESG, in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Budget and National Planning. Part of the discussions at the panel section for this year focused on regulatory reforms for economic growth and competitiveness. According to these stakeholders, effective laws and regulations are vital too for any policymaker, whether they are seeking to grow the economy, protect the environment, or improve citizens' day-to-day lives.
Generally speaking, the regulatory environment of any economy that wants to develop and grow and be competitive is that there has to be intentionality, there has to be transparency, and purposefully crafting the regulations that would assist businesses in their growth.
And one of the key points today was how the role of regulation and government is to create the right environment for businesses to generate value. That's how you make your economy competitive. I think they're doing the best they can, but there's more that needs to be done. And like I said during the panel session, SMEs have to be looked upon as a protected class, one, and secondly, there has to be more work done around SMEs. Don't call SMEs at the point of creating the policies or approving the policies. It has to be done before the policies and the frameworks are being made. So the government needs to do more.
That I would emphasize the regulatory process of number of days to set up a business. I think those things need to be worked upon, but very often it's not where the shoe really pinches. There's bigger concerns that most firms have and bigger issues that prevent them from being productive. And those relate to what I would call sort of the backbone sectors to private sector.
The Special Advisor to the President on Industry, Trade and Investment, John Ugochukwu, spoke on some of the regulatory reforms of the government in the economy that are targeted at economic growth and competitiveness.
We've created frameworks that create the conditions in which businesses operate. So those frameworks include frameworks around ease of doing business that is being driven by the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Committee, which is PEBEC. You have the Presidential Tax Reform Committee that is looking at creating a more transparent and efficient tax environment for people. You're seeing interventions specifically in certain key sectors, in transport, in energy, in agriculture, and trying to make sure people who operate in those environments that they have the ability to scale.
Regulatory reforms are important for economic growth and competitiveness for a number of reasons, including creating certainty for businesses, promoting competition, attracting investors, reducing burdens, and encouraging sustainable behaviors, among many others. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
In a recent media briefing, the Adamawa state government emphasized its impactful efforts in rural development, which have often been overshadowed by large-scale infrastructure projects. The administration pointed to key initiatives aimed at improving rural communities, including the provision of electricity, construction of rural roads, and establishment of new medical facilities across the state. Trust TV's Gibson Swadigo reports.
Invite you interact.
At a third quarter media parley, which brought together journalists from national and local outlets, the Adamawa state government highlighted its trailblazing initiatives. The state has been at the forefront of implementing a 70,000 minimum wage, social investment programs, intercity and community transportation, and enhanced security measures. The administration reaffirmed its commitment to inclusive governance with a focus on ensuring that no sector or community is left behind under Governor Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri's leadership.
Today, Governor Fintiri can confidently claim to have fulfilled the promise made to the people. Adamawa State under Fintiri had been a trailblazer in Nigeria, no doubt. The implementation of the 70,000 naira minimum wage came like a bolt from the blue at a time when some governors are still deliberating the issue. We still know that there are a lot of states that have not paid this 70,000.
The chief press secretary to the governor, Humwashi Wonasiko, praised Governor Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri for reshaping the state's image and reigniting pride among its citizens. He described the governor as a game changer with a clear blueprint for development, setting him apart with its transformative initiatives that have left the people impressed.
This is what I describe as good governance. Good governance that people are marveled as to how it's been done. This governor has become the envy of so many governors. He has become the envy of so many people because of what he is doing. Like I said, he came prepared for governance. He didn't come to joke.
The special advisor on inter-party affairs, Balajada, and Barrister Sunday Wigira praised the administration's inclusive governance approach. They highlighted how it has fostered unity within the ruling party and encouraged constructive engagement from opposition parties.
But all I know is the governor of Adamawa State is steadfast and he's fully in the party, and there's nowhere he has undermined the party in any activity.
Of Adamawa State, Right Honorable Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri touched in Adamawa State, as far as government and governance is concerned, it is unprecedented.
The session wrapped up with a question and answer segment, allowing journalists to engage directly and seek clarifications. Gibson Soadigo, Trust TV News, Yola.
The People's Democratic Party's Governors Forum has instructed feuding members of the party to revert to the status quo. The directive was given by the chairman of the forum, who is also Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed, after a meeting of the governors which ended in the early hours of Tuesday. Mohammed said, as a political party, the PDP was bound to have disputes among members, but added that those challenges can always be resolved. Mohammed said with the truce, all suspensions have been nullified. He urged the PDP National Working Committee to restore the suspended officers, while the acting national chairman should also remain. On Friday, a federal high court in Abuja barred the PDP National Executive Committee from removing Umar Damagum as the acting national chairman of the party. The court judgment came after suspension and counter-suspension crisis rocked the party, causing an uproar. And to more stories. The leader of the House of Representatives, Julius Ihombere, has decried the non-implementation of the Prohibition Against Persons with Disability Act by both government agencies and those in the private sector, saying unless something drastic is done, the law will remain just on paper. Ihombere, who spoke at a public hearing by the House Committee on Disability Matters, said many Nigerians, including heads of government agencies, believe that the act, which was signed into law in 2018 by former President Muhammadu Buhari, was a mere joke. The chairman, House Committee on Disability Matters, stressed the need to invite all relevant stakeholders to ensure that these engagements will help make considerable and impactful progress.
It is worthy of note that PWDs are a vital part of our society. They are family members or parents who cater for the family needs. They make invaluable contributions at workplace, participate in all activities that involve life. Therefore, they should not be limited in their activities and struggles to earn a living, get education, and enjoy equal rights.
It is also of special interest to us the issue of accessibility to public buildings and the use of sign language interpreters in the media and for public communications.
Most of the MDAs lack the requisite technical capacity to mainstream disability in their work. On the other hand, the National Commission for People Living with Disabilities is yet to develop a sector-based training models to support MDAs across diverse sectors.
What we really need in this particular time is to see the implementation of the already signed disability bill, and also to see how the honorable member will also beautify the already signed. That is to look into it.
I think the first thing is to deepen our collaborations with government agencies, especially Ministry of Works.
The current mass transit buses that are being inaugurated, CNG buses, I own cars, I own fleet of buses. I'm a person with disability. I'm a transporter, but I can't even go to queue to convert my car to CNG.
Still on the floor of the Green Chambers of the National Assembly, the House of Representatives has called on the Federal Ministry of Education, the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, and the West African Examinations Council to urgently return the examination center in Lassa and establish a new center in Musa and Dille to alleviate the challenges faced by students in those communities of Askira Uba local government area of Borno State. It also urged the Federal Ministry of Education to collaborate with security agencies to ensure the safety and security of students, teachers, and examination materials in the newly restored examination centers. This followed the adoption of a motion moved by Representative Midalla Usman Balami at the plenary on Tuesday. Presenting the motion, he said the current security situation in Musa, Dille, Mutlafo, and Lassa wards of Askira Uba local government area of Borno State has impacted negatively on students writing JAMB, WAEC, and SSC examinations in the communities. According to the lawmaker, students from Musa, Dille, and Lassa are forced to travel long distances to Maiduguri and Uba town with high cost of transportation, which most parents cannot afford, thereby denying students the right to education, while those who manage to afford the fares in most cases arrive at the examination venue late. The House adopted the motion and mandated the Committee on Universal Basic Education and Services, as well as the Committee on Examination Bodies, to ensure compliance. And to developments in business, headline inflation has increased to 32.70% in September. The figure is a marginal increase of 0.55% from the 32.15% recorded in August. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, the headline inflation rate was 5.98% points higher compared to the 26.72% recorded in September 2023. Furthermore, on a month-on-month basis, the headline inflation rate in September 2024 was 2.52%, which was 0.30% higher than the rate recorded in August 2024. This means that in September 2024, the rate of increase in the average price levels is higher than the rate of increase in the average price level in August 2024. NBS noted that the rise in food inflation was caused by increases in guinea corn, rice, maize, beans, amongst others. We'll take it away from Nigeria now. Flash floods have devastated parts of Jonglei State, South Sudan, leaving hundreds of families without shelter and access to clean water, the United Nations reported on Monday. Heavy rainfall in Boro town caused flooding that displaced approximately 375 households in 4 areas of the state capital. Residents are facing dire conditions, with many lacking basic necessities and medical care. A community leader in Boro, Mapero Court, Akwai, expressed concern about the contaminated flood water, which he said has led to the spread of diseases like malaria and pneumonia. Akwai emphasized the tragic impact on the community, noting that children have died, women have miscarried, and the elderly perished, attributing much of this suffering to the government's inaction. With the situation worsening, there is growing frustration among the flood victims, who are calling for immediate government and international assistance to address their urgent health and humanitarian needs. And lastly, in sports, the Confederation of African Football has delisted the Group D second leg fixture of the ongoing 2025 African Cup of Nations qualifier between the Super Eagles of Nigeria and the Mediterranean Knights of Libya. CAF published an updated game fixture on its X handle on Tuesday, but did not include the Libya versus Nigeria game. The game was earlier scheduled to take place in Libya by 8 p.m. on Tuesday, after the first leg took place in Godswill Akpabio Stadium, Uyo, on Friday. The Super Eagles beat the Mediterranean Knights by a lone goal in the dying minute of the game. However, the return leg has been greeted with controversy after the Super Eagles players and officials narrated their over 14 hours ordeal at the Libya airport, leading them to return home. And And on that note, we've come to the end of the news update on Trust TV at this hour. Remember, you can always follow us across all of our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs, and documentaries. I am Aisha Salihu. Thank you so much for watching. Join us again.